Page 7. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shaka clan,
I prostrate, make offerings,
and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shaka clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shaka clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme science, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thus inside prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community intending virtue I prostrate.
Homage to the
Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage, to all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, and all aspects. With supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the foe, false, and be delivered from samsara's ocean.
Perturbed by the rays of aging, sickness, and death.
From Tushita's hundreds of gods, protectors heart, to tip of this fresh, pure white heat, curd like cloud, full Mandrapa, Dharma's omniscient king, pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable Guru, smile brightly with delight. Pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit. Feel for my mind of faith, your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables. Your eloquent speech adorns fortunate ears. Your beauteous body, famed glory outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and in vision offered up to you. Field of merit, non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginningless time, especially what has contradicted three vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shun take mundane concerns, make life essence full. O protector from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable Gurus, from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your Dharma kaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound Dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue that I've here gathered bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make venerable Los Andrapas essential teaching specially shine forever. Make way, say way, chen, raise dream, make and pay, wang, po, jam, pel, yang, tu, pung, malu, jom, song, way, dog, gong, chen, ke, pei, su, kien, song, ka, pa, lok, sandra, pei, sha, so, O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with to the exalted three jewels. Thus have I heard at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha and Vulture Peak, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time the superior art, Vishara the Bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practice of profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior art, Vishara the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child be trained who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke of the superior art, Vishara the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the wish to engage in the practice of profound perfection of wisdom, should look perfectly like this. Subsequently, looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition of factors in consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty. Without characteristics, that is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no increase and no decrease. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomena. There is no eye element and so forth up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth up to no aging and death and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation and no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom, and because their minds have no obstruction, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times, by relying upon the perfection of wisdom, become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, equal to the unequal mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Tayata, Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Buddhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, trained in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior art, Vishara the Bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child, the lineage so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and let your goddess will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior art, Vishara the Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what has been spoken by the Blessed One. In the Holy Supreme abode the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwavering caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the host of the three places Dakinis. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Buddhisoha. Through the power of truth of exalted three jewel speech, may all undecided negativity such as the four Mars be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be sanctified. All enemies of structures and hindrances shunned. The 80,000 types of obstructors passive, free from adverse harmful conditions, may all be conducive and perfect auspiciousness, happiness and well-being here right now. Sashipaki Juchi Mejo Tramri Wablingji Ni.
「
Good evening. How's the temperature here? Okay? Not too hot, not too cold? I feel cold. You do? How's the Hindu? Are you okay?
Thank you.
Good, good. No, it's fine, no problem. Look, I fall asleep. If I was asleep, you guys throw up something, okay? Mala or some pen. Anyway, Mr. Andrew, we going to discussion the complicated book. Buddha makes us complicated because we are very complicated person. Usually, basically, is reality. The person is a more complicated person has more problem. It is just you can check. Who is more complicated person? They have more problems. Who more relaxed, calm, or very open mind has less problem. But during that time, those persons, they don't accept the problem because their problem, because I'm the complicated person. No one accepts that. He doesn't do very well. She doesn't say good things. He doesn't do good way. Therefore, the problems. Therefore, now we check who's right, who's wrong. Reality. We have to debate. Therefore, we are the complicated, then Buddha also teaching complicated things. the real, sutra, tantra, mahayana, hinayana, doesn't matter, whatever the Buddha's teachings, to purpose to subdue our mind, to less attachment, less angry, less jealous. Like how we control our mind. Okay? Then we really understand the emptiness, then it is close the lot of doors to all our delusions. Since we close our door of the delusions, then also close the problems. Okay? Like that. Then, yeah. Ta kazanganzo sharam nyubu golmata nyura chomu shede imbas ta ngobu edne.
So we've been discussing a lot about this Heart Sutra for a few weeks now, right? Maybe it has created even more confusion in your mind.
Right? Ani nganzo shata ana zuda tro reja nga ani umbo nga ani shipa nga sendo kanji kam chobje le jedi ma shezongos.
So we talked about emptiness based on the 18 constituents. So those are the 6 objects, 6 organs, and 6 consciousnesses. So 6 times 3 makes 18. Those are the 18 constituents.
And
then after this, also it explains the emptiness based on the basis of 12 link of dependent risings. So this 12 link of dependent rising is the link through which we circle in cyclic existence.
And then
and so these 12 links are the cause to circle in cyclic existence, and also it becomes a result of circling in cyclic existence as well.
And what and then power in driver set, and then Rajagriha, and then dripping driver set, or the
So it talks about the cause, that throws us, into cyclic existence, and the result that is thrown in the cyclic existence, or the result that is thrown, and then there is accomplishing cause and accomplished result. So we talk about all these different kind of causes and results.
And then Mariba Sepa Geshe me is Geshe Svipatam, those temas was.
And so in the Heart Sutra, in the text as you have read, it says there is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance, and so forth, up to no aging and death and no cessation of aging and death. So that's all it talks. That's all it says, about the 12 link of dependent rising in this text.
And then Mariba Methnada, Tome Mariba, Kovetsa, Mariba, Tayang, Mariba Mesavati, then Mariba, the Rangitriba Mares, and then Mariba Sabavana, then Mariba, the Rangitriba Mariba, Sepachayo Mares.
And so here it says there is no ignorance, right? So the ignorance is the first of the 12 links of dependent rising, and it is the very cause of the whole cycle existence. From the ignorance, and then comes all these things. So it talks about the ignorance at the beginning. The ignorance is there, when it says there's no ignorance, it doesn't mean there's no ignorance at all. There is no ignorance existing from its own side, or existing inherently. And then also when it talks about no cessation of ignorance, and so you cannot cease the ignorance that is exists from its own side.
Okay?
So last time not last time, but previous time, we already talked about the 12 link of dependent risings already, right?
Who teach?
So you are very mastered in that, in those 12 link of dependent rising, right? You are mastered?
Okay.
And so to count them first, the first one is what? Ignorance, and then volition or production, yeah? And then what? Consciousness, right? Consciousness.
So
those are the three main causes, right? The three main causes, the ignorance, and then production or the karma or evolution, whatever you call it, and then the consciousness. So those are the three. They call it throwing karma, throwing causes, throwing cause. Like you throw, right? Throwing cause. And then thrown by that, I mean, so you know that there's thrown by that cause, then there comes the result, and those results are the two links, the mingire. And so the dependent link of the name, from that, thrown from that karma, that comes the result, the dependent link of name, and the dependent link of the sources, the 6 sources. Mingsu.
Sepa repa da tsuani la ya anem driji jos and sepa lemba sepa sanda and depend jos or do chine.
And then so then there's a dependent link of contact, so you come in contact like touch, right? The contact, and then the dependent link of feeling. So you touch and then you get this feeling, right? So those two are the accomplishing cause. And then from there comes the attachment, or and so those are the craving. Now from there comes the craving, grasping, or clinging, craving, clinging, and existence. So those are the 3 accomplished results.
And it Jagani, ta tambo the trap the girl. Jagani said the Kaji.
And then there's the dependent link of birth, and then there's the dependent link of aging.
Okay.
So those 2 are always there. So it's like it becomes like the result of all the dependent links. All the dependent links.
And then Mariba said, Kanji Tanda Kanela Kanjinadon Kuan Koji and the Jomariba Tanja.
So here, ignorance is the cause, that causes us to be born or circle in cycle existence.
And then Yoman, the Jile, T. Kunil Hawaii, Tabana. And the later Ganana, Maribekan, and digital less at the song.
And so, motivated by the ignorance, then you create the karma, or the volition or karma, right? So the first link is the ignorance, and second one is the volition or karma.
Today is that. Tending the later mena, Maribatamena, the later less song, Maripati Kanelhani. And then
so there cannot be a volition or a karma, right? The creation of the karma without the motivation. So you have to have the thought, to engage in action. So you have to think, okay, I'm going to do this, then you do it. And without thought, there cannot be action. So just like that, without the motivation, the ignorance, you cannot create the karma. And so the karma can be any kind of karma, right? Any kind of action. Could be a good action, it could be bad action. So then, as you create the karma, the action is done, but it leaves the imprint, right? So when you do something, that's done and that's gone. The action is gone already, but the imprint is left, and that imprint is left on the consciousness. So that's the third link of dependent rising is the consciousness. So motivated by ignorance, you create the karma, and the imprint of the karma, you leave it on consciousness. So those are the first three link of dependent rising. So it is applied with the example of sowing a seed in the field. So the person who sows the seed is like the ignorance, like the motivator, ignorance, and the seed, the seed itself, is it's like the karma, the evolution, and the field on which you sow the seed is like the consciousness. So where you leave the imprint of the actions. And then there's a craving and clinging. So it's very similar, but there's a difference in the intensity. So those two become like the condition, like like a manure and water. So that helps the seed to grow, just like that. Those two, the clinging and grasping, helps the karma to be ripened. And then, so like after you have sowed the seed, then when it just starts to grow, so you see like very small sprout. That's like the dependent link of name and form. So just before it's about to sprout out, just like you don't know exactly, but when it's about to come in. So that at that time it's like the dependent link of name and form. And then after that, when you are able to see it, so not just about to see it, but you are actually able to see it, at that time it will be the same as the dependent link of six sources. So after that, then when you are able to actually, feel it, touch it, and so forth, that's the contact, the dependent link of contact, and then from the contact, then comes the feeling. So that's how we are born in cycle existence. What caused us to be born in cycle existence, and how we are born in cycle existence. So in our case, or as a human being, we are born from the womb, from our womb of our mothers. And so human beings like ourselves, when we are born, from the womb, then all these two of link of dependent arising, it just it applies to us.
Okay. And that take our maribe maribe 아니 레 상이 약속만보 딱 제자이스와.
And so how that happens is that from at the beginning with the ignorance, and we have created, motivated by ignorance, and we have created all sorts of karma actions, right? Goods and bads.
아니 배제 변다 개별에다고 근데 너네 아니 아직 인디지레 야보사네 디 아니 그러 바자 남식 등이 전에 아니 밑장 배제를 두시 사용 그래서.
So motivated by the ignorance, so ignorance also causes us to create the good karmas, right? So the good karma, still created by, motivated by that, motivated by the good thought, then creates the good karma, and the imprint of the good karma is left in the consciousness.
답변은 간소니 밑장 배제를 사용하고 있나? 다 밑장 배제 지불 전에 간소 쉬어 있나? 다 간지 게sem지 끝낼 혼에 아니 링하고 샤와시네 개별에 사용을 해서.
And so, for example, if we have created a throwing karma, right, the throwing karma to be born as a human being, and then motivated by a good thought, we have created a good karma, and that the imprint of that good karma is left on our consciousness.
다 뒤에 저기 레사 삼말라 다 레들랑 간소 시가라가 안에 슬레스바슨지 슬레스바니가 시다워 시.
And so that imprint of the karma, good karma that we have created, which is left on our consciousness, is activated at the time of death by craving, grasping, and existence.
아니 가로 스파스다 이제까지 다 도착 잡도 아니 이제 레를 들어와.
Step
세티.
And also, so the craving, is like attachment, right? So you crave for something or you desire for something. It's a similar thing.
아니 다 가서 마 싫어도 다 가서 도신 싫어도 다데 된데라 주니가 노동신도 싫어이나. 아니 다 단대 장한도 간지 그로 야봉은 이제 개와 아니 주소 빠져 쭉 뭐는 좀 보면 삼삼샷 된데단 제 개वे레지 아신 제잖아. 디가 아니 딱 그로 야보다 디가 아신 디가 다 개वे레 장도 거라. 된데 레기 바자 남신도 장도 그래서.
So, for example, a karma or the 12th link of divine arising to be born as a human being with the perfect, conditions to practice Dharma and so forth. So, for example, in that case, so motivated by a good thought, so we engage in action of, like, for example, observing the morality of abandoning 10 non-virtuous actions, and on top of that, and we engage in the practice of generosity, morality, effort, and so forth. And also we conjoin that, with the stainless prayers, such as praying to be born as human being, to be able to practice Dharma and so forth. So that kind of stainless prayers, right? So with that, we have created the karmas, and that karma, the imprint of that karma, is left on our consciousness. And so that karma, which is the imprint of which is left on our consciousness, will be activated at the time of death, right? Can be activated at the time of death. And so at the time of death, we have all sorts of thoughts coming up in our mind.
아니 뒤 제가 내게 빼려야 아니 먼저 뭐가 제사기 여대 고 개vel에 야우사잖아 아니 제사기 여서가 대수수 나와라 단 차이가 있어.
So, for example, if you have created very good karma, and you are going to be born in a very good place, then you will have the vision of that good place, at the time of death. Some people, not everybody, but some people.
뒤에 가서 다 텔라 차병 게 아니 차 텔라 다 샘바 차니 차바데 온 거다 가서 종로에 들어와.
And then, so at that time, when you have that vision or thought, and then you will have craving for that. The craving comes for that, and that, activates, the imprint, of the good karma that we have left in our consciousness.
근데 대셔도 말 대셔발 단념도 아니 렘바세테 다 내지 나오시도 바자샤샤와들 니반 tunjin도 니바야 쳇상이 니바야 샹도 그래 들어와.
And so you have the craving, which is like a desire. Oh, that's very nice. I wish I could have that. And then from there comes the clinging. You say, oh, that's readiness, I must have that. So like it's the intensity. You leave even more powerful thought imprint in your on that on that object, and so that's clinging. So it's a very similar, but intensity-wise, it's a little bit different. So so you have really strong desire or clinging on that.
And the theatre
and so because of that, right? So through that, then there comes the existence. The existence here is referring to the existence of the next life. So the existence of the next life will be like kind of guaranteed at that time. And so it's, oh, okay. So because of that, now it is more certain to confirm to have that kind of existence. And then soon after that, then like say in the case of in case of being born as a human being, right? So we're talking about being born as a human being. So in that case, at that time, soon after that, then the consciousness will like conceive, will be conceived in the mother's womb. And so that's how it comes about, right? So first you create, and you have the thought, and then with that you create a karma, and the imprint of that karma is left on the consciousness. And that imprint of the karma, which is left on the consciousness, is activated at the time of death by clinging, by grasping, craving, grasping, and existence.
And the Tenley, that Pan Shavakalaya, and the Bola Chawaina, and the Pomochendova, Pomola Chawaina, and the Pachinova, or Tenley, called Katutenjova today, or Rova, Palachana, Machinova, Malachana, Pachinova.
The Casa Pomochology,
Pongo.
So then it goes through the and so of course there's this a period between the death and birth, right? So it's called the intermediate state. So the consciousness goes into the intermediate state when it's sure about its existence. And so they say that the form of the body, the shape of the body, or the form of the body that you will have, and in the intermediate state will be the bodies, resembling the next life's rebirth. So if you're going to be born as a dog, you will have a body resembling the dog in the next life, or human being, and then same body as human being in the intermediate state. So from after that, then during the intermediate state, then you will see the parents. As a human being, so we have the parents copulating, and then at that time it says the consciousness will see them, and if the consciousness is attached, to the male, then it's going to be born as a female, and if the consciousness is attached to the female, then it's going to be born as a male, and so that kind of ignites the consciousness to die, and then from the intermediate state, and then enter into the birth state.
And the Paman Katanyam Devala Tenita, Namshite Shusa Zamala, Namshite Shubane, Umbutu, Dodo Kakashia, Mateo Palaya, and the Mingitin days.
Shusadi?
Shusada, Tanga Shusa was.
So, and then it's not necessary in every case, but mostly it says that it enters through the father's mouth, goes through the genital, and into the mother's womb, like that. So the consciousness goes through like that. And then once it is, the consciousness, is in the womb, with the fetus, then it, the fetus, takes the form of the body. So you will have like bulgings, coming, like the shape of from like the head part, the arm parts, the leg parts, and so forth.
No, tell them make it this. Tatali Yaji Chimodo Chani, and they chig Umbo Tewachi, Umbo Tewanachi, Tora de la Tendiki Pachi, and they chig 단 여와가 심도 받으라 아니 신체도 된대 생각을
And so at that time, then you have formed the dependent link of name and form. So that's the name and form. And then after that, your organs will develop in the body. Right? So so those are the sources, for your visions, the sound, the olfactory, and so forth, right? And so at that time, just after the name and form, then just before you can have the full shape and be able to get the feeling from the touch. Before that, then that's called the six sources, the dependent link of six sources.
And 대내한테 제일 첨보자네 아니 도와대도 땅용게 세 도와 가리가 도와대와도 가리동한테 세 카한테 치토비 qabla야 and repeat research.
And then as you develop to the point where you are able to get the feeling of roughness or smoothness, a good feeling, bad feelings, and so forth, at that time then you have developed the dependent link of contact. So it's still inside the womb, right? So that's all happening inside the womb.
And then 다야들 첨보지는 도와대도 뇽와 도와대외 동화가 비뇽와 도와대와라 쳐봐 아니 지 도와동화라 잔디글로 든디지 잔디가 든디 뇽와 아니 딱 뇽티비 나칼라 아니 도와대 데서 그래서.
And so then when through the contact, when you have that feeling where you wish to be free from the bad feelings and want to be with the good feeling and so forth, at that time then you have developed the dependent link of feeling.
가서 아니 레사에 고죽 살더라. 소티 갔네. 소대도 땅용 즉 근데 뇽티 버려서 갔나니 야 레사에 고죽 살았어.
And so then from that one, from there onward, we have already started to create karma. So the moment when we're able to have the feeling and attachment for good feeling and aversion for the bad feelings and so forth, when we're able to have that, from that on, we have already started to create karma.
And then my gonna bachelor by TV, kitchen Kambola, that gave it in this. Kitchen Yabana gave it in this.
And then give it in
that is Shatani Shigno, Kajuna, New Jordan gave it to Kajana Chuloma, not to Tommy Toykale, gave it into Tanya Jagres.
So, and then from the moment you are conceived, you are already born. Right? So, the moment you are conceived, you are already born, and from there onward, the dependent link of birth has already started. And then the second moment of conceiving, you have already started age. So, the dependent link of aging, has started from there already. But some people, in some concept, says that the birth dependent link of birth starts after the baby comes out of the womb. So then, first moment when you come out, then the birth started. You are born, on such and such day and so forth. Right? So that's when we celebrate our birthdays and the birthdays. And so that time is the time that's considered in regularly. I mean, normally in the secular world, that's how we consider being born as, right? And then after the second moment of coming out of the womb, then the aging, starts. So in the regular world, we say that aging, so the birth and aging, started, from after coming out of the womb.
아니 되네 다 주잖아 아니 야 좋아 대두라 차네 아니 간로 고아 경비래 야는 야도서 양시 양지 두순도 되겠어.
And so then, like I said, even from the time when we're in the womb, from the time when we're able to have that feeling, constant attachment or desire for a good feeling and so forth, we already start to create karma. See, so then with that karma will make us to be born in cyclic existence and then die. And that very karma which makes us to be born in cyclic existence also makes us to die. And then that's how we circle in cyclic existence. We die, we're born, and then we create karma, and then we die again, and then through the karma again we are born, and so forth. So that's how we circle in cyclic existence.
맞아, 단 지금 다니는 배자가 기대 쳐봐이나 잡아다 더 출발도 아니 ndishiki 돌았어야 그랬어. 되는래 싸도 그랬어. 아니 전부 만나서 소외되라야 저 잡성나 나는 답변에 아니 레감라 사그레스 두샤그로
두시?
ndshi ro randshi trawa to ndshi ngetawa chutawa tatawe kula ani mijar so ni choye to la ya ani shuma bojane le ma sa gres.
So they're saying that the ordained people and the practitioners, they create karma based on the discrimination. So the thought of discrimination is, oh, my teaching is good, my tradition is good, my view is good, and so forth. So that kind of discrimination, this is good, the good tradition, that's not good tradition. This is good teaching, that's not good teaching, and so forth. So that kind of discrimination. So through that, you create a lot of karma. And then it says the non-practitioners and the secular people they create karma based on the feelings and desires.
아니 레발라 때니 아니 초와 대두 따뇨도 버려버서 초와 대두라니는 초와 대와라 차바 초와 동알다 잔대기로 전에 아니 다 대단자 문제가 당가서 쇼케는 건다바 주대요.
And so through the context that there comes the feeling, right? So the feeling, then there's a good feeling and bad feeling depending on the thing that we come into contact with. And so that's where we have attachment towards the good feeling and aversion towards bad feeling. And then so we spend all our time just trying to achieve the good feelings and try to avoid the bad feelings.
Okay?
Is that how it is?
가지 강조 단다 강조 로다이도 쇼케는 군다반도야 돼. 텐데라 춘이 던데는 로디게 들어와.
And so it applies to our day-to-day life also, from the morning till night, whatever we do, it all, comes into this 12 link of dependent rising.
그러다 뒤에 레사야 그노 쪼데 근데 상대 좀 내가 도도로 좀 다다 먹여와 쪼세 지송셔로 왔어.
And so the main cause that causes us to be born in the cycle existence are the 10 non-virtuous actions that Buddha has explained.
그러와 간지 머리 벗겨내 놓어 아니 내 간지도 먹여와 쪼 가르게 내는 중이로 왔어. 뒤에 내는 주티 뒤에 빠져도 남시 되게 샤로 그래서.
And so, motivated by ignorance, then we engage in any of the 10 non-virtuous actions, and the imprint of that, the 10 non-virtuous actions, are placed on our consciousness.
Okay? O tenere ochi tenere ta nganzo tenere la chunyi de pena maribangana ndeshengana namshingana do res. And the chi tenda ta chikchila rale chana chikchila rale de so.
So dependent link, so they're called dependent, so they are dependent on each other. Right? So there cannot be evolution without ignorance. So the evolution depends on ignorance, right? And also the cessation, of the evolution depends on the cessation. So when you cease the ignorance, the evolution will be ceased also. The creation of the karma cannot happen without the ignorance.
Mariba gape deshe gape namshin gape mizung gape shechetu gape repa gape sepa gape lempa gape sepa gape ani chegi digaro gashi tenen gano res.
So when you cease the ignorance, that ceases the evolution. When the evolution ceases, that ceases the consciousness which carries the imprint of the karma will no longer be there if there's no creation of karma, right? And then if there's no the imprint on the evolution on the consciousness, then there will be no craving, grasping, and existence to which that happens or that comes at the time of death towards that imprint of the karma that we have created. So if there is no such thing, then there will be no contact, there will be no feeling, if there's no contact, and then there will be no 6 sources, so there will be no name and form and so forth.
Okay? 다 텐지가 아니 텐데로 주니고 고왕 코스일래 어떤 고와서 간다만 고에 동화서만 대 아니 따바이도 무보인 제여버도 제명을 봐 아니 따치 정도 말라 아니 먼저 가로 데마시에서 바통으로 해서
And this 12 link of dependent rising, when we investigate on these, whether they are permanent or impermanent, whether they are born from the causes or they are born without the causes and so forth. So when you investigate them, then that falls into the Four Noble Truths. And then, you first have to understand what is the suffering, and so the suffering, where the suffering come from, and then you look for the cause of the suffering, right? So first you have to understand the suffering. That's the true suffering, and then you understand the causes of those sufferings. So that's the true source, the true source or true origin, the origin of suffering. And so here also it talks about that, right? Likewise, there's no suffering, no origin, no cessation, no path, and so on. So then that's talking about the emptiness on the basis of the Four Noble Truths. So you understood what are the 12 league of dependent risings, right? So the three main causes that throws us to the cycle existence and are the ignorance, evolution, and the consciousness. And then so the name and form and the 12 sources are the thrown result into cycle existence.
And then driving and the drive me jete and driji and seles pani. Then dripping and driver and driji gela and the repado tovani. Dripping driver seles sabasum.
Do it, Jula.
Depend on Jesola. But dripping Joe, dripping driver. And so other pani. Jealous person.
And then also the accomplishing cause and accomplished result, right? We're talking about. So it's very similar to what we normally call about cause and conditions. So there's the grasping, the craving, grasping, and existence. So or like the condition, or we call it accomplishing causes that actually helps the cause to be ripened, and then the accomplished result of that will be the contact and feelings. So you see the wheel of life, the portrait or the drawing of the wheel of life outside there, right? So that also has the 12 link of dependent risings. And so, depending on this 12 link of dependent rising, where we are born, there are 6 realms, the 6 realms of existence.
And then
and then in the middle of that, so what causes us to be born in the 6 realms of existence through the 12 link of dependent rising, and are the 3 poisonous delusions. So then there's this portrait of a pig, and a rooster, and a snake, so which symbolizes the 3 poisonous delusions. So in the drawing, it's supposed to be like the tail of the snake and the rooster is kind of inserted into the mouth of the pig, or in other words, it's like coming out of the pig's mouth. So it all comes, from the ignorance. Right? So the pig is resembling or representing the ignorance here.
And the
rooster resembles the attachment, and the snake is for the hatred or anger. So the hatred and attachment are also produced by the ignorance. And so then through those three poisonous delusions, then we create a karma. So the karma, in relation to the 12 link of dependent risings. So having created a karma through that, where we will be born, there are 6 realms of existence.
Okay?
So you can study all those things in that wheel of life portrait, right? So the root of all this 12 finger of dependent rising, is based on the ignorance.
And so
the ignorance, is ignorance. You know what is ignorance, right? Ignorance is not knowing, right? Not knowing in this case would be not just not knowing anything, but not knowing the reality. What is the reality? Not knowing that kind of ignorance.
Deva dunga tundu semeja dunga jala ngomba juk. Deva karo.
To the semeja, like Deva, that is
right. That and jumps it says, Tacho, they want to mishi bongo was.
And so just like it is said that even though we want to be free from sufferings, we always run after the cause of suffering. Even though we wish to have happiness, we destroy the cause of happiness as if it is our enemy. So it's like that happens. Why? Through the ignorance, because of not knowing the reality. And so here in this Heart Sutra, it explains about the reality. So what is the reality then? The reality is that everything is empty of inherent existence. And to make it even more complicated, is said in a way, like things do not exist the way it appears to us.
And so
because we think everything that appears to us are true, right? And things exist just the way they appear to us. That's the kind of thought or clinging we have towards. And because of that, then when we see somebody beautiful, somebody nice, then we think, oh, that person's really nice. But that person can be bad also, right? That person can just be nice at that time, but not necessarily it's going to be nice all the time. Can become bad later and so forth. So we don't think about that, but we only think that person is very nice at that time because that's how it appears to us. And because of that, then we get so much attached to that person at that time. And then later, it lures us, and then brings us all this problem. And the same with the enemy. So enemy at that time we see as very bad person, and that's how it appears to us. And then we think that is how really that person is, and because of that, then we develop all this hatred and so forth as much as possible towards that person. But then because of that, then they create all this problem. So that comes from thinking that things exist just the way they appear to us. And so that's why things do not exist the way they appear to us. So even though even though they don't exist in a way they appear to us, doesn't mean they don't exist at all.
니에서는 그런 가디는 니이요 그러다데 랑도 처음에마다 군전 정도 와서 다송도 다 logic sometimes.
So even though they don't exist the way they appear to us, but they do still exist, right? So enemy somebody can be enemy, somebody can be friend, so it depends, depending on situation, right? Depending on situation at that time, you can call that person as an enemy or a friend. But because we think of somebody as existing in a way exactly as how they appear to us, that kind of messes up all the things. And then, later there occurs the problems also. So, and also the other thing is that if the person is good, is really good as it appears to us, then it should be really good, right? It's not necessarily good, and it can turn bad also, right? So when it turns bad, then what happens? It's not good anymore. So, but if it's really good, then it should always be good. If it's really bad, then it should always be bad. But it doesn't stay bad all the time. It turns to be good sometime also. So therefore, it is not true like it appears to us.
다원은 대한 파직 수주루체나 아니 덴바니네 되게. 덴바니야 덴바 시양 덴바 특마다 현님 놀아야. 지제레레레레 나동 고왕 고야가 죠. 저거 다 고왕 고야 잘라서 레레레네 직 방아리네. 덴바 마도 손대게 되죠.
So all these things that is mentioned here in the Heart Sutra, like there says no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, and so forth. So all these things, no, means like it does not exist truly, right? All the six sources, the six organs, or six consciousnesses, none of them exist truly. And then it also talks about the six objects, right? The sound, the form, sound, smell, and so forth. And then the 12 sources, and talks about the 12 linga of dependent rising, and then talks about the four noble truths. So none of these things are existing truly. So when this thought of attachment or anger comes up, it comes from the based on the objects, right? And so based on the objects and through the organs, right? So with the organs, with the eye organ, which is basis for the eye consciousness, we see the beautiful object, and then from that beautiful object, and then there comes the attachment. So when you talk about the mental factors, like the primary mind and mental factor, right? And then primary mind, and then there's a primary delusions, and just like that, that's a secondary delusions. Then when you talk about the mental factor, they're mostly like the secondary minds, right? And there are some which are stronger than the other ones. So there's this main delusion, the primary ones, and then the related delusion, like the attachment, is the primary, and the craving is similar to that. So that's like a little bit less strong. And so here it is identifying the objects through which we generate all these delusions like attachment, anger, and so forth, and saying that those objects from which comes all these delusions do not exist truly. So they are all related to our, our life, our mind, our thoughts. And so it doesn't talk about the floor not existing truly or the cup not existing truly. It's saying that the object that appears to us doesn't exist truly. The organ to which the object appears doesn't exist truly. The consciousness which sees the object doesn't exist truly.
And the Tenley China, and the Kurukulla Jig, they are the matter matters. Kurukulla languages, the Korean devils on Korean, they are the matter matters. What do some heroes?
And also, it's saying that 12 link of dependent arising, which are the causes for roaming or circling a cyclic existence, do not exist truly.
Okay? Why we talk about this too much? The purpose is that
so the purpose is just to try to reduce or try to minimize the delusions in our mind. It's definitely, it's totally possible to reduce these delusions from our mind. Somebody who is very angry all the time can slowly become less and less angry, right? And so some people are very nervous, then they can become more courageous. And so that shows that our mind can change, and it can eliminate the bad thoughts and so forth. So somebody who is who easily gets angry, who easily gets very angry, and then just from the way you speak to the person, can have less anger, right? So that can change also. So that person's state of mind, especially of becoming very angry, can be changed just from the way you speak to person, right? And it shows that that anger in that person's mind is not existing truly. If it's existing truly, you should not be able to change. You should always be angry all the time.
Okay.
And then it says, likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no existence, no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. So what is attainment and non-attainment here?
We all just guess that. That commentary also not mentioned what the...
So Geshe, he doesn't know what it is because it's not explained in the commentary. So if you know, you can tell.
Okay? Yes.
Or we can just guess. Yeah.
Should we can check.
Sounds like it.
I will check, try to find that's really what they talk about. The next week we're going to talk about a little bit the Mashikola.
So next time we'll talk a little more about the Four Noble Truths.
Otherwise we talk about emptiness, everyone just confused, right? Okay, then any other questions?
A mantra that will help with your fears and like the delusion or the anxiety or the delusions of certain things that you already have delusions of, your ignorance of. Is there mantras you can do for certain things like that?
Not time to know so that you won't touch it.
Won't touch it. There's Cardana Mania one day, Ijaya one day, and the Dipatana, you want my children was.
Yeah, the 100 syllable mantra. 100 syllable mantra, the Vajrasattva mantra, and Om Mani Padme also, If you recite those, then that will purify the negativities. So if that purifies the negativity, and that will also lessen the delusions.
And then Miti mantra on the Vaina, and the Jeramboche, so on the Jeramboche, and the Nijela Sherizi, Sherapchilla, Jambeya, and then Totokilla, and then Passionato just swim digger, Takajum more. Takaro.
And also mixema, so if you recite the mixema, so if you recite that, then also that can help to reduce the delusions. Like mixema is appears to Lama Tsongkhapa, and Lama Tsongkhapa is the embodiment of these three deities: Avalokiteshvara, the deity of compassion, and Manjushri, deity of wisdom, and Vajrapani, the deity of power. So if you pray to Lama Tsongkhapa, at the same time thinking about those qualities, and to reduce your delusions, like and to increase your knowledge, your realization of compassion and wisdom and power, and then also anything that is in contradiction with that, all the forces that is in contradiction with that can be reduced by just reciting that. So, and then at the same time, you can also do a meditation on the visualization of the nectars flowing down from Lama Tsongkhapa, and then from the three places of Lama Tsongkhapa, where he has all these three deities. From there comes the nectar, and that purifies all the negativities, and especially like all the delusions that is directly contradicting with those qualities like compassion and wisdom and power. So you imagine purifying all those delusions like that.
Okay? Okay? Yes.
I have a follow-on question. When you mentioned three places, specifically the visualization, what are the three places?
가을에서 내숨도 가오샤오스.
딱 고소 두숨잖아 이게.
네, 내숨서 가오샤.
야마나 안에 내숨라나 안에 trawa 좀 봐. 안 때와.
10월에 여기 더 산지라.
쇼 좀 봐. 때와.
So some they say the forehead in a tower, which means the forehead, and then the throat and the heart. And so some they do the the crown, throat and heart, like that.
Thank you.
Three places.
Okay? Yes.
Krishna said, when you die, then you immediately descend, and then you take the form of your next rebirth immediately. What we do over is prayers on, in the different days of when someone has died. So how do they relate to that person? Is it, example, you've got the form of the dog, but because people do the prayers, now you get born in the house of the dog? How does that work?
We don't know what they're going to be born as.
Yeah, but how do we help? How do our prayers benefit the person?
Missioner.
The mission mission apena kyawachima so karlenga ba tinsang de sugdi ta pardo kapse ngor sora an de na ta mission chama jama de midide shine ta karsa kila kyawle na ana kila kyawle na ta de ma ta ko pardo jude ra ta kila kyawle na ko pardo jude te do khala pardo sugdi ta ki su na jora ate je zanta te de khala karcha khalemero jo khala ta ko ki mi jinda ya bo na la ki kyawle ne mo shos na sa kyawle kaza melon jagores ki khade melon khade jagor khorana ta roba chela khorana pen thoya chele melon khade jagores
근데 가서 치콜 나와 가리 샤기야다 거가 좀 가서 통고 말스러워.
그래 안 제가 다 가는
대리다 간제 심지 간데 좋아나. 다와제 저와치 밀리 되는 거지 톱네. 아니 산제 공부 도야 견적을 쇼 솔직히 코로나 뛰어야 보이 렘버 쇼 삼나 차선 태로.
너 겨왔다 다쳐 살아 봐. 미코 바로로 죽더라 보다. 겨왔다 다쳐 살아.
다 고치어데 됐다 데려오다 가서 그 하고 말해. 다 그렇다 쳐서나 코로나 가도 다 쳐다나. 만두근데 파 뭐럼 자야 돼. 간지 뛰어 되기려면 야 나도 뭐럼 잡아라 때네 소선 좋아야 보나. 야 쳐들은 조봇 샘플에 야 뛰어 야 보니 조볼랜드 같은 데 배경에서.
So, like I said, we don't know what we're going to be born as, right? What the person is going to be born as. Can be born as a dog, can be born as a human being, we don't know. But when we do the prayers, you can always think positive for that person. May he or she has a very good life in the future. May he, especially in a life with the, with all the 18 qualities, to practice Dharma, like the 8 legends and 10 endowments and so forth. So what if that person is already decided to be born as a dog, right? So then how can that person, that being, and not person at that time, that being have all these 8 layers and 10 endowments. That's not possible, right? So, so even if it's not possible there at that time, maybe it's possible in the future. So like you pray for that being to have a perfect human rebirth, with all the 8 layers and 10 endowments, all those 18 qualities. So if you pray to one, so if not this life, then it can have other life, next life, or the following life, right? And so whatever life he's going to have, may he live positively, may he be able to meet with the Dharma, and meet with the perfect teacher, and so forth. So just pray in that way. So either in that life, in that very life, next life, or the following life, it will help the person. Yeah.
Okay? Yes?
You said that when a person dies, they have a vision of their next life, and they grasp onto that.
Not the exact vision of the next life, not exactly next life, but something similar to that, something.
Something that looks nice. And they say, I want to go there. So that's the drawing karma that takes them into the next life.
No, that's accomplishing cause. So we talk about the throwing cause that throws you to there, and then the accomplishing that helps you to be thrown there. So it's like when we talk about the cause and condition, like the real cause is the throwing karma here we're talking about. The real cause is the accomplishing karma, is like the condition. Yeah, exactly. So the throwing karma would be like the seed, and then the accomplishing karma would be like the manure, the water, and so forth.
Well, if there is no clinging to that, then what happens? Do we become liberated, or do we fall backwards? Or do we stay in the intermediate state?
Because 세번에 물었다. 지가 너무 세번 좀 물어. 그래서 세번에 매번에는 같이 그래서 근데 탈로 토로 그랬어. 그러니까 이렇게 코알자 가서 발도를 참대 그랬어.
근데 세번 명이 파지 용 말했어. 다 야만의 친구는 지금 다와 톱 조절하고 매워이나. 같이 코로나 지금 동호다 다 세번들이 같이 랭이 뛰어올리는 용거였어. 근데 삼절이 뛰어올리는 거 세번에 그 말을 고라고라 만데 제기 연습 거는데 제 쪽으로 왔어. 신차나 용거였어.
뭐 로봇 톱 쉬워이나.
달로 돌려지게 들어야 코디 삼도 용도고 말했어. 다때 용도는 매다 기왕하면 그런 걸 내가 가르쳐요 있나. 랩톱 가르쳐야 있나. 되긴 되거든. 그냥 매는 거랬어.
So, yeah, that's possible that you might not have the clinging, and like if you have a sudden death, right? You have no time for all these thoughts, So when you're dying in a gradual process, then at that time, you have all these thoughts coming up, and then you have maybe if you have like, that horse is so nice, that horse is so nice. Like when you have that thought, that's you have craving for the horse, and then that will activate your karma to be born as a horse or something. Or when you see a dog and things like that, so you say, that's so nice dog. You have that craving for the dog, and then you activate your karma to be born as a dog, like that, So it doesn't mean that you're going to be born as a dog, then you will have the vision of that dog that you're going to be born as. Not like that. Anyway, so when that's when you're in the gradual process of death. At that time you can have that. But what if you are like you die, suddenly, like in a crash or something like that, right? And at that time you don't have that thought, that vision. So then it depends on the strength of the karma. Whichever strong karma that you have created, whichever karma is stronger. If it's negative or positive, whichever is stronger, then that will, that will be activated.
아니, 나는 너너야 말이야. 나야 아니 지금 괜히 봐줘서 장하여서 소소 땅들들이 온들들 되는 줄 삼고 있어.
And so we just, in the sutra, it will be like you just do good, and then you will have a good thought at the time of death also. So just depending on what you are habituated. So if you are habituated with good thoughts, then you will have a good thought at the time of death. If you are habituated with bad thoughts, then you will have bad thoughts at the time of death. But in the practice of tantra, you can purify those three, the doors, like the body, speech, and mind. You can purify them, and then turn into the three bodies, the body, speech, and mind of the enlightened being, and so forth. Like that.
Okay, it's more confused. Yes.
melom ya de shendalang ngone ko peng mara so de ngado ngarazo pere ngarazo da ngado de pengre sigus 아니 야 단달래 셔야는 ngado melom ya wana san shendal pengre so te ches galdar otomo dos mar karena
된 가다 게 통통 쓰거라 왔어. 세당 안도 봐줘 원래 물음 돼 되게 소소가 소름 살 고급 직접 그래서 미세가 소소란 데와 여서 진바나 팽이 얻어.
It's not like it doesn't help at all. You know, it can help. It can help depending on how strongly are you connected with that person, right? So depending on that, you know, it can help. And of course, like you said, you know, it is for oneself also. You know, so when you do the prayers, you create the karma, you create the merit, right? So you're doing prayer, even though you're praying for that person, but you're doing it. So because of that, you're creating the merit. So you're definitely creating merit, no doubt about that. But also can help other person.
안 소소 미세가 게게도 데와 영어도 남이긴 데와 영어도 같이 된데나 양 팽이서 왔어.
So especially if you have the connection, you know, with that person, like the connection of teacher-disciple, connection of the parent and children, you know, a good friend and so forth, you know, then that can definitely help, yeah.
Okay? Yes.
We went through the no-eating index, there's some suffering origin as a section of thought. But then there's no exalted wisdom. What is the exalted wisdom?
그래서 다들 말이고 서면 가시면 가서 받는 대신 동화도 군주도 고받 람에 이시면 더 마토바면 람메스다 이시메스다 이시리 가려서.
대다 땡하고 무슨 가시면 따서 라이바.
So that's the one that Geshe said he doesn't know, so he will have to look into that.
No pain and no monitoring. We're always free and
Yeah. After 4 number 2 there are 4. Do. The machine is do.
말에
그럼.
숨래죠.
아.
람메 이시메 토바메 마토바메 람메즈라. 람데다 코나데스 동안데 데바시서. 네 이시메 토바메 마토바메스.
남매. 이심에 도바메 마토바메다. 들으라지. Okay.
Yeah, 3 things Geshe has to study.
I have to study, okay? Okay, thank you. Then we stop. Anyway, Lord, think a little bit more. Okay? Yeah, we can stop.
Page 39. 사시보기 육식매조 참위와빙시 니레겐바리 From my two collections, vast in space, that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, they have become the chief leading guru whose most mind is the mind is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives and my new stream. May I find the best and complete greatest paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhists by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings. With the points of the path as I have discerned them, may I uphold Buddhist teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, reveal his treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted boundless peace, and the Buddhist deeds be nourished for a long time. Course to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhists and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent path never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhists. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Impassable mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy. May hortensian gaso generesi remain in life till samsara's end. Page 49. You who uphold the subduous moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Mahanusa's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. And page 57. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having been good, the Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it whereupon arise, and wherefore never decline, but increase forevermore. Dream Thank you, Geshe.
Thank you very much, Geshe. Now I need to go read on the 12 links again. There's always something. Quick first announcement, this September 27 that we said was the Forum Chinrezig initiation, that's going to be pushed out. We'll have a teaching from 9 o'clock to 10:30, and then we'll have a raffle drawing. We've got the raffle, and so it's scheduled for that day, September 27th. That's the first raffle, and then the second raffle will be on November 24th. We'll have the drawing for that. 14. Why did I say 24? Yeah, November 14. Just to confuse things more, I'll say that. Other than that, the tickets for His Holiness the Dalai Lama's teaching at Public Talk and Amherst is already available to buy. I sent out an email. Sorry, it's in the newsletter. The link is there. If you don't have it, just give me your email address and I'll send it to you. Are they all, yeah, are they all sold out? You think so? That's quick. Oh, wow. Could be. Well, yeah. But that that helps me with the decision I have to make, so that's good. So, other than that, let me think, what else is there? The two new programs that we're starting tomorrow. Matthew is doing meditation from 7 o'clock to 8:15. From 8:15 to 9 o'clock is discussion with Aniyeshi, specifically focusing on what Geshe is teaching on Sundays, on karma. We will be using some of the material from Discovering Buddhism, but it's no longer required that you be signed up and be following the course. And then also on Sunday after class, we'll have a discussion with Aniyeshi about daily practice, obstacles we see, sort of a general discussion on, how to be improving your practice and your study. Am I doing something wrong? That's right. And I think that's it. I don't know, did I miss it? I don't know. Kimber, do you know a fall cleanup day? Not yet. Not yet. When the leaves have fallen. Sorry. Give me a smile. So yeah, no, that's it. Thanks very much. Thanks, Geshe. Thanks, Domcho.